Washington, next week at 7 on ABC 7.
Tonight, breaking news, wildfires raging out of control. 250,000 people told to get out. The wall of fire swallowing parts of Southern California. The entire city of Malibu evacuated. We go inside the firefight as a new round of high winds fuels the flames. Also breaking tonight, the search and rescue to the north. 100 people unaccounted for, nearly 24 dead, and thousands of homes destroyed. Tonight, the story of a nurse rescuing patients, her clothes on fire amid the chaos to evacuate. The recount battle, ballots being counted again in Florida, as both parties hold out hope in high-profile governor and Senate races, while President Trump accuses Democrats of trying to steal the elections. The allegations of fraud as protesters line up. Also tonight, the murder mystery. Could an Amazon Echo become the star witness in a murder trial? What the judge in the case has just ruled. Plus, the ABC News exclusive, Robin Roberts, one-on-one with Michelle Obama. What the former First Lady wrote in her new book about her rage and her fear when it comes to President Trump.
From ABC News, this is ABC World News Tonight.
And good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Sunday. I'm Tom Llamas. High winds, exactly what firefighters feared most, are now hitting Southern California, fueling those out-of-control wildfires. This as the death toll is growing. 250,000 people have been told to get out and stay out in Southern California as wind-whipped flames from the Woolsey fire triggered mandatory evacuations, including the entire city of Malibu. The fire line today, you see it there, on the move towards several new neighborhoods. Many multi-million-dollar homes threatened and at least 2 confirmed dead. To the north, devastation and despair. At least 23 confirmed dead in the Camp Fire, now the state's deadliest since 1991. And there are roughly 100 people still unaccounted for. These images from the mountain town of Paradise, a hellscape. Nearly 7,000 structures completely gone. Firefighters tonight are working to save people, animals, and property from the flames. But we're also hearing harrowing accounts from residents forced to save themselves. ABC News Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman leads our coverage from Malibu.
Tonight, much of Southern California is a tinderbox.
Right now, we're seeing a great retardant drop right on that line.
A new round of ferocious winds gusting up to 50 miles an hour, coupled with super dry air, kicking up a fire of already historic proportions. It has more than doubled in size over the past 2 days, and over 250,000 people ordered to evacuate. And tonight, they're being ordered to stay away.
I can't imagine being asked to leave my home, but I'm just emphasizing the point as it relates to your safety. Your home can be rebuilt, but we can't save your lives. You can't bring your life back.
Many of the more than 3,000 firefighters here have already been on the front lines for days, now bracing as an already bad situation could get worse. Firefighters describing a hurricane of fire obliterating entire neighborhoods.
You come up into this community now and it looks like it's, a war zone of just demolished, burnt up houses.
The actor Gerard Butler tweeting this photo after returning to his home.
Firefighters are so stretched, they're just abandoning homes like this that have mostly burned already. There's no point in even trying to battle flames like this intense and this dangerous.
Watch as the intense heat and wind hurl debris as if it were a tornado.
Oh my God, I'm surrounded by fire. I'm surrounded by fire right now. I don't know what to do.
Fire raining down on people as they try to escape.
Please, dear God, let me get out of this. Please, please.
That journey to safety perilous for many.
We have room down there. Go.
Authorities confirming 2 fatalities, folks who died in their cars. And now, in addition to that blaze, local authorities finding themselves in a political spat with President Trump, who tweeted, "There's no reason for these massive, deadly, and costly fires in California except that forest management is so poor." The president of the California Professional Firefighters Association responding, the president's message is ill-informed, ill-timed, and demeaning to those who are suffering as well as to the men and women on the front lines. And Tom, it's important to note that firefighters have been stretched so thin over the past couple of years that more firefighters have died from suicide than from fighting fires. And I'm going to have my cameraman spin around and give you a sense of the scale and totality of the destruction in this neighborhood here in Malibu. Nothing stood a chance. And I want you to see the white soil here. Now, it turns white when the fire burns at thousands of degrees. Nothing in its path stood a chance. Tom.
Thousands of degrees of heat. All right, Matt Gutman there in Malibu. We will have more on the wind forecast in a moment, but we turn next to the northern part of the state, where the scope of destruction in the Camp Fire is now brutally clear. The mountain town of Paradise reduced to smoldering piles of debris, with the number of fatalities spiking. There's also a race to account for 100 people reported missing when the fire swept through, with cell phone communication paralyzed for many. ABC's Will Carr is in the fire zone.
Tonight, the Camp Fire scorching nearly 110,000 acres. Now California's third deadliest on record, the death toll jumping to 23. With communications down, many still missing. Nurse Nicole Jolly is worried about one of her coworkers.
We have been trying to reach her family.
Hospital staff racing to get patients out before evacuating themselves.
I ran up this hill and I got into the next vehicle. The back of my pants were on fire and I burned a hole in her seat. And she was praying with me and she's like, I don't think we're gonna make it.
So many people had to jump out of their cars and make a run for it, so search and rescue crews are going car by car. When they clear them, they put a pink ribbon on and then move down the road. The Camp Fire, now the most destructive on record in California, gutting more than 6,700 homes and businesses. Sean Field waiting to see what's left. Do you have any idea if your home's still standing?
No.
Not at all.
I just asked the PG&E guy if I could pay him to take a picture.
With residents being kept out of the area, we went to check on his home. You can see what the house looked like before the fire. And this is what's left of Sean's house.
Hello?
Hey Sean, it's Will Carr with ABC News. We're up at your house, and I'm sorry to say that it didn't make it. One single green coffee mug standing out in the rubble. I know it's not much, but we found that. Wanted to get it to you.
It's just awesome to see the people that are helping us.
Tom, tonight with cell phone service spotty here in Paradise and the damage so widespread, it's making it even more difficult to track down the people who are still missing. Tom.
We saw it there up close on Friday also. All right, Will, thanks so much for that. And as we reported, these firefights have been complicated by high winds, breathing life into the flames, with more than 23 million across the state facing a critical fire risk right now. ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano is tracking the conditions in California. And Rob, these are the exact conditions firefighters were fearing most.
Exactly, Tom, and it's only going to increase as we go through time. This is one of many homes in this neighborhood that's burned to the ground. This one actually with ceramic tile roofing, which should help prevent your home from catching fire, but this fire burning so hot, it did little to help this situation. All right, we have red flag warnings up now from the Oregon border all the way to Mexico, and high wind warnings just outside the cities of San Diego and Los Angeles. Look for the winds to increase tomorrow from what they were today. Extreme fire danger, especially at the higher elevations, but Los Angeles, including Malibu, back through San Diego, we're looking at critical fire danger. That means extreme low levels of humidity and winds that could gust 40 to 50 miles an hour in those red zones down to the south. If anything sparks in San Diego in the next couple of days, it is going to be explosive, and this will be another two-day event. Northern California normally gets rain by now. We haven't seen that. Any hope for rain in California doesn't come until at least next week, Tom.
And as you said, those winds for the next couple of days at least. All right, Rob, thanks so much. Also in California tonight, an update on the Thousand Oaks Bar massacre. An autopsy confirming Ian David Long fatally shot himself after opening fire inside the Borderline Bar and Grill, killing a dozen people. Authorities are also investigating social media posts with timestamps showing Long posted to Instagram during the rampage, predicting people would respond to the shooting with thoughts and prayers. Next tonight to Florida, where mandatory recounts have begun in razor-thin Senate and governor races. Officials in several counties starting the recount process, a development reminiscent of Florida's 2000 presidential recount. The Democrats in both races unwilling to concede, while the Republicans now have President Trump on their side. ABC's Victor Oquendo is in Broward County.
Today in Broward County, protesters swarming election headquarters as they have for days. Each side accusing the other of election theft. Florida's machine recount is underway. State law mandating a recount when races are within half a percentage point. The race for governor meeting that threshold, the Senate race even tighter. Governor Rick Scott leading by just 12,500 votes. Meanwhile, the rhetoric between Scott and his opponent Bill Nelson heating up.
Senator Nelson is clearly trying to commit fraud to try to win this election.
President Trump weighing in, tweeting, trying to steal two big elections in Florida. We are watching closely. While Scott and the president have provided no evidence of fraud, Democrats are expressing their own concerns about Scott as the current governor being in the position to certify his own election.
I am calling on Governor Scott to recuse himself immediately from any actions involving the Florida election. Scott has a blatant conflict of interest.
In the governor's race, Democrat Andrew Gillum rescinding his election night concession.
I am replacing my words of concession with an uncompromised and unapologetic call that we count every single vote.
But Republican Ron DeSantis leading by 33,000 votes, already looking ahead.
We have begun our transition efforts to build an administration that can secure Florida's future.
All right, let's go to Victor Oquendo right now in Broward County. Victor, there are dueling lawsuits between the Nelson and Scott Senate campaigns, and tonight Governor Scott has a new lawsuit. Are some sides in this battle trying to win the recount in court?
Tom, this one is getting more heated by the day. Governor Scott filing a lawsuit in Broward and Palm Beach counties asking that voting machines be impounded while not in use to prevent what he has repeatedly called voter fraud. We've checked with state officials. They tell us right now there are no investigations into voter fraud. His opponent, meanwhile, Senator Bill Nelson, says Scott is making false and panic claims. Tom?
Victor Oquendo for us tonight. Victor, thank you. And in Georgia, Brian Kemp, the Republican candidate for governor, is saying the refusal by Democrat Stacey Abrams to give up is a, quote, disgrace to democracy. Abrams, seeking to become the first black woman elected governor in the United States, says tens of thousands of provisional ballots still need to be counted. Unofficial returns show Kemp with a roughly 63,000 vote advantage. And in the Arizona Senate race, Democrat Kyrsten Sinema is leading Republican Martha McSally by just under 2 percentage points. There's about 250,000 outstanding ballots, though, still to be counted. Next tonight to the breaking news in the nation's capital. ABC News has learned Democrats in the House Oversight Committee plan to investigate President Trump's alleged involvement in hush payments made to women during the 2016 campaign when they take control in January. ABC's Tara Palmieri is at the White House with the new developments, Justin. And Tara, what have you learned?
Well, Tom, while the president may be seeing the special counsel's investigation wrap up, he's facing fire on another front. A senior Democratic aide tells me that when the Democrats take back the House, they'll get subpoena power, and they plan to use it to investigate the role that the president may have played in those payments made to two women, porn star Stormy Daniels and Playboy actress Karen McDougal. Now, the president has long denied having any knowledge of these transactions, but his former lawyer and fixer, Michael Cohen, pled guilty to campaign finance violations in connection to these payments, and he said that he did them at the direction of then-candidate Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump has since distanced himself from Cohen and has questioned his credibility. Tom?
Tara Palmieri for us tonight with that new reporting. Tara, thank you. Also tonight, President Trump and the First Lady are returning to Washington after a historic visit to Paris. The president joining several world leaders today, marking the 100th anniversary of Armistice Day, the end of World War I. But it was remarks by French President Emmanuel Macron about nationalism that many believe was an open attack on his American counterpart. ABC's chief foreign correspondent Terry Moran is in Paris.
The bells of Paris tolled, and more than 60 world leaders walked through a cold rain down the Champs-Élysées, 100 years to the hour after the end of World War I. President Trump arrived by motorcade, apparently for security reasons. Vladimir Putin, arriving late, exchanged a quick handshake and thumbs up with Trump. French President Emmanuel Macron spoke of the lessons of the war, and he issued an unmistakable rebuke to President Trump, who in recent weeks has proclaimed himself a nationalist. That's a word with dark overtones here in Europe.
You know what I am? I'm a nationalist, okay? I'm a nationalist.
But today, Macron tried to draw a sharp distinction.
Car le patriotisme.
Nationalism is a betrayal of patriotism, he said. The famous bromance between Trump and Macron under pressure throughout this trip. Later, President Trump visited an American cemetery honoring the American fallen. But the leaders did some business here, too. At dinner last night, Turkish President Erdogan spoke to President Trump about the murder of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi in Istanbul. President Erdogan also revealed that Turkey has shared with the United States and other countries that audio tape of Jamal Khashoggi being killed inside the Saudi consulate. All this putting more pressure on Saudi Arabia and on the crucial U.S.-Saudi relationship. Tom?
Terry Moran reporting from Paris tonight. Terry, thank you. And there's